Welcome to episode 8 of the the Performer podcast for performers. I don't know why my teeth aren't in today, but they are. They are in, and I'm ready to go. Okay, here we go. Outtakes. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 8. It's going to be a solo episode with me, Michelle Thole. So on the episode today, we're going to be talking about social media. We're going to be talking about why you need it, how you should use it, and what you should do once you get followers. And that is what I want to get my teeth into today. So here we go. On with the show. Welcome to the Performer Podcast. Stay tuned for practical tips, strategies, and interviews that will help you get one step closer to that performing career dream of yours. Hosted by me, Michelle Thole, success and performance coach for performers, a proud Hufflepuff, bopper, and a theme park lover. So here we go. On with the show. Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Performer Podcast, episode 8. As I've said about 60 million times already. I'm only joking. Okay, so we're talking about social media today, and the reason I chose social media is because I've had so many clients of mine have this real sandpaper effect when it comes to having a Twitter account or an Instagram or a Facebook page to do with them, to do with their performing career. It's really interesting, actually, to have this resistance come at me about social media because, do you know what? I'm not a massive fan of pushing people to do things that is not in the area of genius. However, when it comes to social media and you are a band, when it comes to social media and you are a comedian, dancer, singer, let's just go broad stream. There isn't anything the social media can't help with when it comes to marketing you, when it comes to marketing your show, when it comes to marketing a song or an album you have out, or it comes to marketing an open mic night event, or, I don't know, a battle you've got coming up, whatever it is that is going on for you in your performing career. There isn't anything the social media can't help you with. So I want to break it down. So first of all, why do you need it? You need it because it's fantastic exposure for you. A great point of contact as well. So I know for a fact that most casting directors will look at social media. So they will look at who you are, how many followers you have, and how well engaged you are. Because at the end of the day, this is PR. This is the public relation this is the face of your business, the shop front, shall we say, to your performing career. Because let's face it, you are not a corner shop that sells fags and milk and bread. You are actually a product. Your business is you. And so you have to, it's a great platform. So any type of social media right now is a great platform for you to get used to selling yourself. Now, that's the first thing. The exposure is an amazing thing. And the second thing for why you need it is to market yourself. So like I said, if there is a product coming out, you can do a launch of your product. So a month before, you can start putting videos of you in the recording studio or writing the jokes or setting up some rehearsals for the dance troupe. There's loads of different ways in which you can use use social media, use Facebook Lives and Instagram stories to create the world in which you want to portray to the people who will be coming to your show, who will be looking at you for investment later on. And it's a perfect way for you to get in tune with what PR is all about in this world, because it is all about PR as well. It's all about marketing yourself to such a degree that you are marketing success. And that's what we want. We want you to be successful. Sorry, I want you to be successful. The other thing is to create connections and community. So the reason why you need social media is to find other actors, dancers, singers, comedians who you can collaborate with. Let's be honest, a creative career is so different than another business. And the reason why is because a creative career will always be, how do I want to say it? It will always be dependent on who you know and how you collaborate well with others to then connect to their networks, and then their networks connect to your networks. And social media is a great tool in which to find people who are at the same level as you, or maybe a level up, and you can collaborate with them. Because you being a lone wolf in this is it's a long road, being a creative entrepreneur. And why should you do it alone? You shouldn't have to do it alone. And I think social media, again, is the perfect tool you're going to hear perfect tool quite a lot in this social media podcast, but it is because you're going to connect with people outside of your normal circle. And if you've got a circle of friends or a circle of colleagues right now that aren't vibing with you, that are not really on the same level as you, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then you need to create that for yourself, because you will not get any better if your circle of friends, your circle of colleagues, your acquaintances aren't living life to the highest of standards. And this is where social media will extend that, will create a better circle for you to move forward. So there's 3 ways there of why you need social media. It's great exposure. It's a great place to market yourself. And also it's a great place to build community and connections. And here we go with how you should use it. You will look on so many YouTube videos out there on how to use Instagram, how to use YouTube, how to use Facebook, how to use Snapchat, how to use Instagram, and all of the others that will be there in the future. There'll be so much information and you will be bombarded. Let me tell you something. Having a platform on all of them is fantastic, but only if you're using it. Now, it would be better for you to pick 1 or 2 social media platforms that you absolutely love and then go in hard on those. And then with all your, on your email signature, when you're sending out emails to people, in that email signature, just put those 2 social media profiles. So then when they look, they can see that those 2 social media profiles are your thing. That's something that you should start off with as a beginner. And then as soon as you get more established with social media, and as soon as you start the love of social media starts happening for you, and all those things, connections and, helping to market your products and then you will then want to branch out. But if you're just starting out, the one thing I'd say is just to have 1 or 2 platforms of social media that you study and know inside out. Now, for instance, let's take Facebook pages and Instagram. Now, Instagram is the perfect tool for us creatives because it's very visual, and lots of creative entrepreneurs are visual people. So obviously on your main profile, you're going to have your pictures or your videos, and then you'll have Instagram stories, which you can take, I think it's like 15 seconds worth of your day as you're going along, and they last for 24 hours and then they disappear. So I see Instagram stories as like a diary entry, like, oh, look at me, this is a snapshot of my life at this point in time. Whereas your pictures on your profile will be there for a long time. So think more strategically with what is on your profile as opposed to what you're using for your Instagram stories. To be honest, I don't particularly want to go through every single one, only because I know this podcast will last 3 hours and I've got a social media expert coming on the show in the next couple of episodes. So I just want to give you the kind of like how you should use it. And the first thing I would say is, if you're on so I'm just gonna say about the things you shouldn't do. I think sometimes that's easier. The things you should definitely not do on social media is add people that you want to add and then message them straight away. Do you want to buy my song? It's on iTunes at the moment. It's on SoundCloud. Have a look. This is my new show reel. Have a look at this. Think of social media as going into a bar and you're on a dating, kind of like speed dating thing, should we say, and you go to a bar and you see somebody you like, and you wouldn't go up to them straight away and say, hey, fancy a coffee back at mine? You just wouldn't do it. So why would you do that online? And why would you think that was okay to do it online? So if you're the type of person on Twitter that has these automatic DMs, automatic direct messages, that when somebody follows you, when somebody likes you, you then send this automatic message that says, hey, thanks so much for following me. If you want to know more about me, here's my website, my show reel, my mum's dog, the time that I went to Gran Canaria. That's not something that you would do right now, because that literally is like you going into that bar and saying, hey, want coffee at mine? That isn't social media. if that's the case, take off your direct messages. I would say don't ever use them. And I'm very clear with that. Don't ever use that. But there's a point where I think under 10,000 followers, you should be replying to every single message and every single person that follows you. Under 10,000. And I know that's going to take a lot of time, and it does. But the only thing you're going to get out of social media is what you put into it. And this is about creating contacts. So if you're in a like for like business, so you're liking someone to get another like back, then actually that's not a connection. That's just collecting likes. So let's use Twitter as an example. There are apps out there like Crowdfire that you can literally automate who you follow and who you don't follow on Twitter, how many people follow you, how great it looks. But you always know about these apps because when you look at someone's profile, they will have a very similar amount of follows to followers. And it looks a bit sus after a while, like, oh, okay, so you're just doing the follow for follow like. And I tell you the one thing that's really bad about following people just to get a follower. The one thing that's really bad about that is you are on social media because you want to sell your product and your product is you. But in the long run, what happens is those people that are liking you to like you back are not looking at your page. They're just on the follow game. And when you do that, if you post something, they won't comment or like it or reply back. They literally will just see it on their wall. And the name of the game with social media is engagement. It isn't follows. And I'm going to say that again. The name of the game is engagement. It isn't follows. So for a long time, I've heard about this Crowdfire app. And like I say, that's just the one. There's plenty more out there. And they are great. But they're only great to make you look more established than what you actually are. But when it comes to looking at engagement on your site, if you're not getting people commenting or liking, then you don't have a community. And the community are the people who are going to become raving fans of yours and who will come to a show, who will buy your single, who will show up at the open mic. That's what you want. You want engagement. You want people to care enough to then part with their money. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I don't want to talk business. But what's the point in spending all this time on social media if you're not going to get anything back from it? So Crowdfire, I wouldn't personally use it, but some people do, and that's fine. However, how great is it for you? How is it working out for you? How many albums are you actually selling? And go from that point on. Another one is organic reach. So organic reach is how many people who are finding you because your content is good. Because let me tell you something. Social media is about engagement and having engaging content. If you're putting out stuff that isn't good, you won't get something back. So make sure that your content is always upbeat. Well, it can be downbeat if you want, if that's your vibe. But make sure the content is great and it's thought-provoking or educational or it's stating something and people are learning more about you. So I would also say use it. This is another thing. Social media is supposed to be social. So if you have 50 million posts, it could be on any of the social medias, where they're all like, buy my album, listen to this song, look at my show reel. It's basically like a massive peacock showing its feathers off. Woohoo, look at me. You've got to give some more substance to who you are because people buy from people they like. And so we want to use social media to gain that connection, to gain it. Oh my gosh, like they like for instance, for me, I love theme parks. So I'll always put things up about theme parks on my social media. And the people who like who like theme parks like my stuff. And that's all good. I heard once when I first started my business that, oh my gosh, why did you put something about a theme park on your coaching social media? That's just something you just don't do. And then I thought, well, you don't know the secret sauce to social media, because if you talk constantly about yourself, your business, your product, you will not. It's literally like just shouting at people, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. It has to be social. It has to. You have to have the personality to come behind it. You have to have the PR as such to who you are. And people have to know who you are and the authenticity of everything that you represent. So that's how you should use it in a nutshell. Although, like I say, I could literally spend the next 5 hours in a podcast breaking down every single social media. And do you know what? Maybe in the future I will do a separate podcast on each of the social medias and how to use them, but that'll come later. I think this is just like an overview of social media right now. Okay, so you've got a few followers. Woohoo! So you've opened up your your chosen social media. You've got a few followers. They're probably your nan and your mum and your dad and your uncle. And then what I want you to do is I want you to message all those people privately and ask them to bring in some other people to share some of your tweets or your page, your posts, and to get the message out there to start. Sometimes at the start of this social media journey, you have to ask everyone you know, friends and family, to comment, like, and share your content, because as soon as you get engagement, there's that word again, engagement is a share or a like or a comment. Any of those is golden to the algorithm of the social media platform that you're on. And the algorithm is like a computer generalized, I don't know, it's too technical for me to understand, but it's a computer code that lets lets Twitter know that what you're saying is of value to other people, and therefore it will show it to other people as well. So your biggest thing here is to get followers. And once you start getting followers, that's fine, because you've got an audience to say your stuff to. But once you get, say, 10, 20, 30, 40 people who are following your stuff, then this is where I'm saying about getting engagement, because use social media to its benefit. There's a search button, the search bar at the top of any of the social medias. I want you to type in something like actor's life, singer-songwriters, singer be like, comedian, comedian life, backstage, standing ovation. I want you to type in stuff like, here we go. Trying to think, choreography, dancer's life, anything that you are, and life at the end of it is always a great one for creatives. So songwriter's life, dancing, rehearsals, write any of those at the top of the search bar, and then you will get everybody who is talking about that subject right in front of you. And then what you do is you start to comment and like and share those people's posts. And that's how you create a community. If you see someone that you really love doing what they love doing, then go for it. Now, you can get strategic here and only choose people who have maybe 3,000 likes or 5,000 likes, as opposed to, Kim Kardashian, who's got, I don't know how many, like 7 million or something, probably more. But the people you want to engage with, you have to be truthful here. Don't write, oh, that was a fantastic dance I just have seen. Why don't you head on over to my social media where they'll have my full dancing choreography background? That's not what I mean. What I mean is that first section was incredible. I love the way you used, mirroring or whatever you want to write. Write something tangible, write something that means something to you and would be meaningful to the person, because then the person will comment back and you will start community. So this is what you should do with creating a bigger community, creating bigger collaborations with people. This is how collaborations start. But the other thing is, when you get your followers, I want you to message every follower and ask them, how you doing? Thanks so much for following me. So can you see how the difference is from the direct message to then actually starting a conversation, you and the person who's following you? Is there any content that you'd like to see? I'm just working on recording. Would behind the scenes be something that you'd like to see? Because at the moment I'm doing that. That's a very different way of saying, oh, when my album comes out, can you buy it? So there's loads of different ways in which you can then create content. Now, on Instagram, and this changes constantly, so I really shouldn't say it, but like I say, because as soon as I say it, it just goes out of fashion, but you should have something, a picture of you on your profile, one every 4 to 5 pictures. Now, I gotta say, mine's probably one to every 7 or 8, I think. But it depends on you and your style and what you want to put out there. You cannot hide behind your social media. And that's something I really want to drive home to you. You cannot hide behind your social media. You have to be the face of it because you are the product. You can't be shy about being out there, if that makes sense. Use it to its ability. And it doesn't mean you have to be in every single picture, because that just literally looks like selfie spam. I don't know whether that's a word, but I've just made that. Selfie spam. Hashtag selfie spam. But use social media to the best of your ability, and then just get better, and then get better, and then get better. When I first started my Instagram page, which doesn't have a massive following, but let me tell you something. My Instagram page, I've looked at people who have 10,000 people following them, 12,000 people, 6,000, 8,000. And my engagement on my Instagram page is roughly the same amount as those people who have 10,000. And for me, that means everything. It means absolutely everything. So I'm not getting this 100% myself, and I'm still learning. I don't think anyone can ever be a full master of social media, because the algorithm changes constantly and the way you develop as a person changes, and you may not like the content that you're putting out that you may have put out maybe 2 years previous. So the one thing I'm going to say to you is this: just get out there and give one platform a go if you have one platform. Sorry, if you haven't started anything. If you have started platforms and you have followers, and you're at the point in which you feel as if you're just kind of shouting into a tunnel, like, oh my gosh, I'm putting stuff out there, but I'm not getting anything back. I want you to use that search bar at the top of whatever social media you're using right now to gain those contacts and be a part of social media. You can't just add your stuff onto it without actually being a part of the community. And being a part of the community is liking, sharing and commenting on other people's posts and being truthful with, wow, that was amazing, or, you know, that I took real inspiration from that. Thank you so much for putting out that inspirational quote that really helped me today. Having that engagement is so much better than just putting, oh, I ate crumpets and I had a nice cup of coffee for breakfast. Send. Do you see what I mean? This is about creating community. It isn't about you. It's always about the person in which you are serving, and you're serving the community of that social media. So I hope that has been a nice little foray into social media right now and where you're at. Let me know where you're at with your social media. Are you an absolute beginner? Would you like some absolute beginner podcasts coming out to help you? Are you more intermediate? Do you understand the whole kind of social media game? Have you got like 100,000 followers and you're loving life? Let me know. And let me know by commenting, or I don't know. Yeah, let me know by commenting, or send me an email at hello@michellethole.com. And I want to know where you're at with your social media game and how you are using it to benefit your creative entrepreneurial business. Because remember, it's a tool that you use to get your message out there, to get your product out there, and to get you in front of the right people. Just before I go, I just want you to know that social media has some amazing people on it. And that means there's record producers on there, there's A&R people on there, there's people who book gigs on there, there's people who work at casting agencies on there, there's actual casting directors on there. So in not using this tool, you're actually cutting off your nose to spite your face, so the saying goes, but you are stopping a lot of people reaching you and seeing your stuff. And I remember in episode 1, we had episode 2, because episode 1 was the introduction. But in episode 2, we had amazing Kate Davis speak, who created social media hashtag on Twitter called Showreel Share Day, where all actors, and I've got to say she's messaged me and said, a lot of other genres are getting involved in this as well, but predominantly actors were sharing their showreel on that day and putting in their message hashtag showreel. Because and maybe something I didn't make you aware of before is when you're in that search bar and you're searching actor's life, it's because anyone in their post that has put a hashtag before that word, so hashtag actor's life, that's the key for the search bar to show all those people, because that's what they've written in their message. So that's what helps the algorithm to bring all those people up, because they would have put hashtag actor's life or hashtag showreel share day. And then you can get to know people. But casting directors are actually using that in order to find new talent. So a tip for you is to always pin your showreel or your latest album or your latest single or your latest video of an open mic that you've done, or latest comedy battle or improvisation that you've done. Always pin that as a top pin, so it will be the first pin that anyone sees. So for instance, a casting director comes to your social media site. I don't know, let's say for instance you've sent them an email. In your email signature you've put a link to your Facebook or your Twitter. You've put a link to your Twitter. The casting director will click onto your Twitter feed, and then the first thing they see will be your top post, your top tweet, which will be your pinned social, your pinned oh gosh, why can't I say this word? your pinned showreel. And instead of scrolling all the way through your social media to find your showreel, it will be pinned right there. So that is a little insider tip for you to get that going and to make sure that that is 100% the first thing that anyone sees. Because do you know what? The beauty about social media is anyone can see anything at any time. So you never know when the right person sees that showreel. So with that, I want to say that just get out there, make mistakes. It's all good to make mistakes. I'm also going to put in the show notes the most amazing Facebook planner I have ever come across in my entire existence. It's by a great friend of mine called Michelle Purse, and she runs a marketing business. Again, my teeth is not in right now. She runs a marketing business especially for small businesses, and she works with social media. So I'll put a link in the description for her social media planner. And this planner can be used for, although as she says for Facebook, I've used this template on all of my social medias. Maybe less so on my, well, not actually on my Instagram, but I've done it in a different way. So for instance, it'll say, show the back area of where you're working. So on that day, you could do an Instagram story of my office or me working with a client or that type of thing. So I use Instagram stories for that. Whereas in Facebook, you'd be able to post that as a Facebook Live or whatever. So without me babbling on and on and on, I could literally talk for hours about social media. I'm going to leave that there. That's the start. That is the absolute start of social media, and why I think you should get on a social media platform right now. There are so many eyes and ears out there and looking, and you never know who will be on your social media next. Have an amazing week. We've got another episode coming up on Wednesday, and I will see you then. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye. thank you so much for listening to the Performer Podcast with me, Michelle Thole. If you want to know more about me, head on over to www.michelletholey.com. Okay, michelletholey.com. If you also want to get involved with my Facebook Lives every Sunday at 7 p.m, head on over to Michelle Thole Life Coach on Facebook and like the page and get involved in the conversation. Have you subscribed to the podcast yet? If not, press the subscribe button and leave a review. I'd be so happy. Have an amazing week and I will see you on Wednesday.